Have you ever considered that maybe the biggest enemy of your peace isn't out there in the world but inside your own mind? We live surrounded by endless comparisons on social media, messages that pressure us, and an avalanche of information that leaves us anxious, insecure, and often feeling like we're never enough. But what if I told you there's a forgotten key, used by emperors, philosophers, and wise men of the past, that can unlock your mind's full potential and give you back the control you've always been searching for? Stoicism isn't some distant theory. It's a practical tool that can change the way you deal with criticism, anger, fear, and even the overload of digital distractions. While most people let the outside world dictate their emotions, those who practice Stoic wisdom discover how to stay calm in the noise, how to find clarity in the confusion, and how to build a strong mind capable of overcoming any challenge. If this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That helps keep this space alive and allows me to continue bringing you transformative content. And before we dive in, write in the comments, "I choose peace" to show that you are committed to strengthening your mind and living with more clarity and discipline. When we talk about Stoicism, many imagine it as something distant, just an old philosophy locked away in dusty books. But the truth is that Stoic wisdom is a practical key to unlocking the hidden potential within your mind. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded us that the mind is like fertile soil. If you don't take care of what you plant, weeds will grow on their own. This means that every negative thought, every internal or external criticism can weaken your mental strength if you don't consciously control what occupies your daily focus. Think about how much energy you waste when reacting impulsively to a WhatsApp criticism or when you let yourself be consumed by constant comparisons on social media. These modern examples reflect the same poison the Stoics warned about centuries ago, letting external factors dictate your inner peace. Once you understand the power of perception, you realize that a strong mind isn't born from silence in the world, but from the ability to remain calm even amidst the noise that consumes so many people today. Stoic philosophy does not advocate isolation from the world, but rather self-discipline so the world doesn't destroy your mental clarity. It's choosing every day not to react automatically, but to ask, is this under my control or not? Applying this question to each situation saves your energy and builds resilience. It's like putting armor around your mind against the invisible daily attacks that wear people down. Imagine the impact of this at work. While colleagues explode in anger at criticism, you use clarity to turn pressure into opportunity. This posture conveys confidence, discipline, and natural leadership. It's not just about resisting. It's about showing that emotional control is a competitive edge in both personal and professional life. Anyone who masters anger and avoids outbursts in daily challenges demonstrates a mental strength few people possess. This practice isn't abstract theory. You can apply it today. When you wake up, write down, "What is under my control today?" If someone criticizes you online, remember Epictetus in his Enchiridion. It's not things that disturb us, but the judgments we make about them. Use this as a shield, and you'll see that inner peace isn't something distant. It's a choice you can make now. Here's the provocation. If the mind can be trained like a muscle, why keep feeding it with weak thoughts and automatic reactions? Next, we'll explore how to transform Stoic discipline into a daily habit and see how it shapes a calmer, firmer, and more resilient life. Want to know how? Stay with me. The mind only reaches its full potential when it is trained with self-discipline. For the Stoics, discipline wasn't a prison, but the key to freedom. Marcus Aurelius wrote that no one can be free who is not master of himself. This means your routine, your habits, and even the small daily choices reveal whether you are in control or just a prisoner of impulses. In today's world, where notifications fight for your attention every second, having mental discipline is like wearing invisible armor that protects you from chaos. But it's not about waking up at 5 in the morning or following rigid formulas that go viral on social media. True Stoic discipline is much simpler and at the same time far more powerful. It's the ability to say no to the distractions that rob you of mental clarity, whether it's endless scrolling on Instagram or a pointless argument in a WhatsApp group. Each time you choose not to fall into those traps, You strengthen your mind the same way a muscle grows through training. One practical exercise is the premeditatio malorum, used by Seneca. He would imagine the day's obstacles ahead of time, criticism, delays, setbacks. By preparing mentally, he was never surprised and could respond with serenity. In practice, it's like rehearsing your response to a boss's complaint or a friend's provocation. This way, anger turns into clarity and fear into strength. This discipline also impacts how you handle your own thoughts. How often do you replay criticism in your head as if it were an open wound? Stoic thought teaches that repeating pain is suffering twice. With discipline, you choose not to feed your mind with those loops. Instead, you replace them with empowering reminders that your reaction is always under your control. And here's the detail that separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. Stoic discipline doesn't demand perfection, only consistency. It doesn't matter if today you wasted hours on your phone. What matters is starting again at the next moment. Just as an athlete doesn't become a champion in a week, a strong mind is built daily through small victories that accumulate into power. Now think about this. If discipline is the tool that shapes your mind, what would happen if you learned to use it to turn problems into allies? Next, we'll explore how to apply Stoic wisdom to transform difficulties into fuel for your growth. Want to find out how? Let's move forward. Life will always bring obstacles. Some arrive as small stones, others as walls that seem impossible to climb. But it is precisely in these moments that Stoic philosophy reveals its power. To the Stoics, every difficulty is an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, what looks like a roadblock in your life may actually be the very thing that strengthens your mind and reveals your resilience. In today's world, this shows up in common scenarios: losing a job unexpectedly, watching a project fail, or going through the end of a relationship. While many sink into self-pity, the practitioner of Stoic thought asks, "What can I learn from this?" By making this small shift in perception, you take the power away from pain and reclaim control of the story. It's not about denying suffering, but about transforming it into fuel that builds strength. Epictetus, in his Enchiridion, reminded us that we don't choose events, but we can always choose our response. Imagine receiving harsh criticism at work. Your first instinct might be anger or resentment, but Stoic wisdom shows another path, using the criticism as training material for your emotional control. Instead of being offended, you ask yourself, is there something useful here I can apply? This way, criticism stops being poison and becomes medicine. This Stoic posture directly impacts your inner peace. When you see problems not as enemies but as disguised instructors, anxiety loses its grip. It's no longer about fighting the inevitable, but about transforming each blow into a lesson. Each difficulty overcome calmly adds more clarity, discipline, and preparedness for the next challenge. A practical exercise is to write down every day the difficulties you faced and the lessons they taught you. This habit builds mental clarity and helps you see that nothing was in vain. Each failure, delay, or rejection becomes part of the process of building a strong mind. This not only increases resilience, but also strengthens Stoic discipline, which in turn builds lasting confidence. Here's the provocation. If even the greatest emperors and philosophers learn to turn their biggest problems into lessons of power, what's stopping you from doing the same? Next, we'll discover how emotional control can become your greatest ally in building a life of peace and mental strength. If there is one skill that separates the wise from the impulsive, it is emotional control. For the Stoics, losing yourself in anger, anxiety, or fear meant handing over the key to your own mind to outside forces. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, insisted, "If something external causes you pain, it is not the thing itself, but your judgment about it." In today's world of endless information and social media, where every comment can become a trigger, this lesson is more urgent than ever. Think of the times when a WhatsApp message or a social media comment stole your peace for hours. That reveals how vulnerable the mind still is to others' control. Stoic thought teaches that true strength lies in not reacting automatically. It's about taking a breath, observing the emotion and consciously deciding your response. This doesn't mean repressing feelings, but treating them as signals to adjust your perception, rather than as orders to lose your balance. Epictetus said that no one can hurt you without your permission. This idea carries even more weight when applied to modern life. Choosing not to be offended doesn't make you weak, it proves your mental strength. When someone provokes you and you respond with calm and clarity, you project a discipline that both intimidates and inspires. This posture not only preserves your inner peace, but also elevates how others perceive you. A simple exercise to apply this is the Stoic pause. Before reacting to anything that sparks anger or anxiety, count to 10, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, is this under my control? This small ritual prevents emotional explosions and strengthens your self-discipline. With practice, it becomes automatic and reshapes the way you deal with people and problems. This mastery of emotions also opens space for a more balanced life. A mind that doesn't waste energy on impulsive reactions gains mental clarity to focus on what truly matters: projects, relationships, purpose. You realize you don't need to win every argument, you need to win over yourself. And once that happens, inner peace stops being a dream and becomes a natural consequence of a trained mind. Now here's the provocation. If you truly want to unlock your mind's full potential, are you ready to control your emotions instead of being controlled by them? Next, we'll dive into the Stoic power of perception and see how it can completely transform the way you see the world. The Stoics believed it is not events themselves that disturb us, but the way we interpret them. This simple yet transformative idea is the foundation of the power of perception. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that life is opinion. We don't see the world as it is, but as our mind chooses to interpret it. In modern life, this translates into the mental filter we apply. While some see failure in losing a job, others see an opportunity for reinvention. The difference isn't in the event, but in the perception shaped by mental clarity. This insight radically changes how we face problems. Imagine receiving harsh criticism at work. The automatic reaction might be to feel attacked, unfairly treated, or even incapable. But Stoic thought suggests another path. Treat criticism as useful information, a mirror showing where you can improve. This shift in perception doesn't erase the pain, but it transforms the experience into learning, building resilience and strengthening your mental power. In practice, it's like changing the lenses through which you see the world. If with every obstacle you tell yourself, "This is training for my mind," the difficulty stops being an enemy and becomes an ally. By applying this Stoic filter, you not only preserve your calm, but also develop a discipline that reduces anxiety and insecurity. It's as if you reprogram your mind to always find the constructive side of situations. A powerful exercise is to record at the end of each day 3 negative situations you experienced and rewrite your perception of them through a Stoic lens. For example, "I lost an opportunity" becomes "I gained time to prepare better." This simple habit strengthens mental clarity and builds a thought pattern where you're in control, rather than dominated by circumstances. This mastery of perception also impacts relationships directly. When someone criticizes or ignores you, your first reaction may be anger or resentment. But by shifting your perspective, you realize their attitude says more about them than about you. This awareness protects your inner peace and reinforces self-discipline, allowing you to stay calm even in conflict. Here's the provocation. If the way you see the world shapes your reality, what kind of lenses have you been using to interpret life? Next, we'll explore how to unite all these teachings into a consistent practice that unlocks your mind's true potential and leads to a life of inner peace and Stoic strength. All Stoic wisdom only becomes real when applied in daily life. It's not enough to admire Seneca's phrases in Letters from a Stoic or reflect on Marcus Aurelius's meditations. Transformation happens in routine, through small choices. The mind grows stronger when you decide, day after day, to train emotional control, self-discipline, and clear perception. This consistent practice is what separates those who only consume motivational words from those who truly build a calm and powerful life. In the modern world full of digital distractions, this means creating daily rituals that protect your mental clarity. It can be as simple as writing down 3 thoughts in the morning, practicing the Stoic pause before reacting to criticism, or limiting your time on social media. These small habits accumulated form the foundation of a strong mind. Each conscious choice is like laying a brick in the construction of your inner fortress until nothing external can steal your peace. Epictetus reminded us never to wait for ideal circumstances to practice, because life itself is the training ground. This means traffic, work pressure, and family conflicts are the perfect arenas to build resilience and Stoic discipline. Instead of seeing life as an enemy, you begin to treat it as a gym for strengthening the mind. Every challenge becomes an invitation to apply Stoic lessons in real time. Here's the secret. There is no finish line when it comes to a strong mind. There will always be new tests, new criticisms, new difficulties. But with consistent practice, those tests stop being monsters and become opportunities. You no longer chase a life without problems. You build a mind prepared to face them with calm, clarity, and firmness. That's where the true power of Stoic philosophy lies. In our hyperconnected world, where so many live anxious and insecure, being someone who remains calm is almost revolutionary. That serenity inspires, commands respect, and opens doors. You don't need to shout strength, your posture speaks for you. This is real freedom, living in peace, even in chaos. And this freedom is available to anyone who decides to apply Stoic teachings every single day. We've reached the end of this journey, but real transformation only begins when you decide to apply these lessons to your life. Stoicism is not just ancient philosophy, it's a survival strategy for the modern world, where people drown in anxiety and chase validation. If you truly want to unlock your mind's potential, remember this: mental strength doesn't come from perfect moments. It comes from the daily discipline of choosing calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, resilience over weakness. Today, you'll have the chance to prove to yourself that you can be stronger than your emotions and bigger than your problems. When criticism comes, practice emotional control. When obstacles appear, shift your perception. When anger rises, use the Stoic pause. It's through this consistent practice that Stoic wisdom stops being theory and becomes real power, guiding your life with firmness and inner peace. Now the question is, will you keep being a prisoner of circumstances, or will you choose to be the master of your own mind? Comment below. I choose Stoic discipline to show that you're not just watching, you're taking action. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. The Stoic key to unlocking your mind's potential is in your hands. Apply it today and see the difference it makes. Because in the end, the greatest victory isn't conquering the world outside, it's learning to conquer yourself.